Good evening. This is David Coppershield broadcasting live for the Westmarch News Network, and I am here to bring you the breaking news of this evening. We have received reports regarding an atrocious act being committed in Westmarch at the dummy area, and we are gathering new information as we speak, but with us over the phone we have an expert specialized in lethal DPS builds who has analyzed the acquired video footage. So let me welcome Professor Ruthbert Cumberland to the show, and can you please tell us about yourself and brief us about what we are witnessing here? Thank you, David. Yes, as you said, I am Professor Ruthbert Cumberland, and I'm specialized in advanced DPS builds for Diablo Immortal, and especially for many years I've been studying the training dummy DPS builds. And what we are witnessing here tonight made me speechless at first, because as we can see here in this video footage, there is a crusader standing at the training dummy, and if the reports are correct, I believe that it is Auroth, who is quite famous for his DPS videos. But what we have seen here is something entirely new. It's a brand new setup with different skills, different essences, and also the results are out of this world. So yes, this is very worrying, because this kind of power is of course very difficult to contain, and we don't yet know what this will mean for the sanctuary. Thank you, Ruthbert. Maybe you can tell us some more about this build. Have you been able to figure out the combinations here by studying this material? Yes, thank you. I've been able to analyze this footage, as I said, and it seems like Auroth in this case is using an entirely new skill setup. So there are some elements here that we might recognize if we have studied his previous videos. For example, we can see the Sacred Fire primary attack still being in use. We can see the Condemn skill, and we can also see the Judgment skill. But what we have here is that we have some new additions. He is using both Shield Glare and he uses Sacred Chain, instead of using Drawing Quarter and the Holy Banner, as we have seen in many other dummy runs of his. So this is something entirely new, and we have to analyze this even further to know what this will imply for the citizens of the sanctuary. Because having this power uncontained will be, of course, extremely dangerous. And as we could see in the video here, the training dummy took a real beating, and we don't want anyone else to have to face this kind of wrath like the training dummy just did. And of course, a build is not only about the skills being used, we also have to take a look at the essences. And he was seen wearing this helmet called Gaze of Wrath. And what it says is that Shield Glare now burns enemies for extra damage over 4 seconds. And of course, as soon as I saw this helmet, I knew that something was going on, because there is a new offhand called Lofty Light. And yes, I was right. He's indeed using this offhand. And what it says is that if we scroll down here, we can see that Shield Glare now surrounds you with an area of radiant justice for several seconds, during which enemies within are automatically attacked and blinded. And yes, this combination is very, very strong. It enables Auroth here to replace the Holy Banner. And when he replaces the Holy Banner, he no longer needs the Echoing Shade legendary gem. And he can switch it with something that increases the damage instead. And we will analyze his legendary gems very soon. But let us first finish talking about the essences and the set combination he uses. What I can also say about Lofty Light here is that it will enable the Ship of Stone Flesh. We will look at that gem in the legendary gem analysis a little bit later. But of course, when using this shield, he no longer needs to use Blinding Wall. He uploaded a video a few days ago where he showcased a previous DPS build. It was not as strong as this one, but in that version he used Blinding Wall just to activate the Ship of Stone Flesh. But thanks to this offhand here, he doesn't need that one anymore. Let us also take a look at the other essences here. Some of them we will recognize from before. We have the Heart of Grandeur, and what it says is that whenever you use Condemn, it will conjure a condensed lightning storm that follows you. So basically it's an area of effect around your character, and it will continuously deal damage, and this is nothing new. We can also see a very powerful shoulder essence here called the Yawning Rose, and what it says is that Judgment now calls bolts of fire to fall continuously in an area around you, burning random nearby enemies. And of course, as we could see in the breakdown in the video footage of the damage, this shoulder is incredibly strong. It's the star of this build, but there are some other adjustments that he has been making here that allowed him to deal even more damage compared to before. If we also take a look here at the pants essence, this is also entirely new. It's called Equal Portions, and what it says is that Sacred Chain now forms a chain of flames between enemies which burns other enemies that touch it. But the chain no longer incapacitates enemies. So this actually counts as a dot effect, and this is also a burn effect. So we see so many burn effects in this build. We have the burn effect from the helmet here, we have the burn effect from these pants, and we also have the burn effect here from the main hand that I'm going to show you very soon. And we also have some additional burn effects from the legendary gems that we will also take a look at. But let's continue. He's using the bristle. This is also nothing new. And what it says is that Sacred Fire now also hurls waves of flame, dealing additional damage to all enemies in their path. And of course, this is a dot resolution build. So in the first offense slot, he is using Torrential Refrain. And what it says is that Condemn immediately triggers all continual damage on the targets it hits, causing them to take the remaining damage instantly. And if you've been following me so far, and also if you've been studying Auroth's content from before, we know that this effect is very powerful, because the point of this build is that he will apply tons of different dot effects. As I mentioned, he has the helmet, he has the pants here, he has the shoulder, he has this main hand that we're going to look at next, and he also has some extra dot effects from legendary gems that we will also take a look at. But yeah, now we're looking here at the first main hand. It's called Horn Splitter. This has also been used before, but what it says is that Sacred Fire now ignites enemies, burning them for damage over 2 seconds. And yeah, this is the essences now. There are many new essences here that has not been used in the previous builds, and that is what makes this build so fascinating, because it is not only about increasing the stats, it's an entirely new setup, as I've mentioned. But we can also take a look here at the set compilation. We have 2 pieces of Vitus Urge, and this is of course because he wants to prolong the beneficial effects by 30%. He wants his buffs to be up as much as possible, and also the effects from certain legendary gems. And what we can also see is that he's using 2 pieces of Baron, and this is because it prolongs all the harmful effects, all the dots, and this means that more dot damage will be resolved by the Torrential Refrain. And finally, we can also see he uses 4 pieces of Angmet. This will apply even more burn effects, and it will also prolong all the burn effects on the target. So at first glance, this looks extremely powerful, and this has also been proven in the video footage that we have seen. And if I continue here, I also have to talk about his legendary gems. Previously, when he was playing with a Holy Banner, he has been showcasing the Echoing Shade gem, because those clones from the Echoing Shade will trigger the burn effects from the Holy Banner. But now, thanks to finding new ways to apply burn effects, he could probably replace the Echoing Shade and instead put in some extra damage modifier gems. So we can see here that he has lowered his resonance actually, but he's able to deal even more damage. So he used the Blood-Soaked Jade for extra damage. He uses the Rolling Consequence for extra critical hit chance and an additional burn effect. He uses the Bottled Hope for some cooldown reduction and increased damage. He also uses Ship of Stoned Flesh. And here we can see that he has quite high rank Ship of Stoned Flesh. And what this does is that it will apply an explosive curse that also counts as an armor break. So whenever he stuns a target, it will take 24% additional damage. And thanks to that offhand lofty light, he will actually have 100% uptime on the stun at the dummy. So this armor break will be up 100% of the time. He also uses Pain Clasp for extra damage. He uses Fervent Fang for extra damage. And here we can see Misery Elixir to prolong the harmful effects even further. And finally, we can also see the Mornskull gem here, just to increase damage as well, even further. So this is something that is brand new and very, very dangerous build. And we will have to wait and see what this will mean going forward in Diablo Immortal. Thank you very much for those deep insights, and your expertise is always very helpful when we are making these type of segments at West March News Network. But Ruthbert, can you tell us something more about his Reforges and about his Paragon settings, for example? And maybe also we have seen in this footage that he has a dragon pet that is actually attacking the training dummy, and this has not been possible due to some bugs lately. So can you please explain to us how this can be possible? Yes, thank you, David. You are entirely correct. This is also something we have to look at. And let me start with the Reforges. He is using damage done to enemies suffering loss of control, damage to demon increase. This will of course not affect the training dummy here. He uses attack speed, he uses duration of beneficial effects, and also he uses critical hit damage. And if we continue and take a look at his Paragon tree, he's using the Slinger category, and we can see that he has the Uncanny effect, the Unseen Dynamism effect, the Gifted effect, the Bloodthirst effect, and also the Superiority effect. And finally, if we talk about the Familiar, you can now activate the Familiar if you duel someone inside of the dummy area. And after the duel is finished, then the Familiar will actually work. Okay, yeah, thanks a lot for that, Ruthbert. And as I said before, we are always grateful to have you on our show, and I hope that you can be back here soon when we maybe do a follow-up segment on this build. And until next time, I want to wish you a nice evening here, and also to be careful in this difficult time. Yes, thank you so much, David, and it was a pleasure to be here. Yes. Okay, so this was David Coppershield reporting. I hope that you found this segment interesting. And of course, we will be back with more information as soon as we can. But until next time, I want to wish you a very nice day and a very nice evening wherever you are. And of course, there are also some clan members to Nyx who needs a special greeting, of course. And this time I will deliver it. And the message is Voruk Nyx Sholaxol. So thank you very much and good night.